Alright, Tribal Habits here, recording another voiceover for another training log, and I'm in a bit of a rush for this one, but that's okay, we're gonna make do. As you can see, I'm not showing footage of the general warm-up and just mindset part, like getting into the right mindset, because I just thought it was boring to be always showing the same process and it's pretty repetitive. So I just skipped straight into the ramp-up sets. Here I'm working with 50 kilos. It's the first ramp up. I am pretty sure I do 3 reps. During the ramp ups, I try to be very slow and controlled. Just get the blood pumping effect and feel my hips, feel how the squat feels that day. Just getting ready for a good session. And today I'll be warming up or like ramping up to 100 kilo single. The reps will get fewer and fewer as I get close to the 100 kilo mark. So now I did 3 reps. At the 70s, I'm pretty sure I do either 3 or 2 reps. Then at the 90s, I do a single, I think, and at the 100 kilos, I do a single. After that, I do a back off set with 60 kilos, and my goal here is reaching 20 reps with 60 kilos. This day, I think I did 16. The previous week, I did 15, and you know how it goes. Just getting plus ones every week I can, and reaching 20 reps with 60 kilos. Then I'll up the weight to 65 kilos and try to get 20 reps with that, regardless of how long that takes. And that's how I accumulate a bit of volume before or after the single. This way I get to practice my technique with what feels heavy to me personally, and considering that my 1 rep max, or the one I tested when I started this journey to 2-time body weight at around 140 kilo squat. When I started this journey, sorry, I just lost the train of thought. So when I started this journey, my single my 1 rep max was 110 kilos. And I'm working my way up to 140 single, which is my goal. So a 2-time body weight squat around that, because I'm 74 kilos now, but I'll probably lose some weight because I've gained about 7 kilos since I've started a calorie surplus back in September when I was 66 kilos. I sit now at 74 kilos, so around 8 kilos actually. And yeah, I'll probably lose some weight, and I'm considering 140, so 3 plates to be 2-time body weight. I'll add a couple of kilos if it's necessary in the day, so it actually is 2 times body weight, but that doesn't matter. And yeah, apart from that, let's see, I guess we can talk about why I'm in the calorie surplus. So back in September is when I actually took studying the top athletes in my favorite sport, I guess you could say, or in the sport I'm interested in performing in. So ring gymnastics, the ring specialists. And I noticed a common trend of their body composition, so their BMI. And when I started training 3 years ago, or I guess a little later than that, when I actually started considering being focused on ring performance, which was about a year and a half after I started training, I only analyzed the superficial stuff, like, okay, all these guys are light, they're about 55, 60 kilos, so if I'm around that weight, I'll be able to perform like they do. But this is wrong, because you have to consider their frame. So all of them are around 155 to 160 centimeters. So for their height, they're pretty built. Their BMI is around 24.5 to 25.5. So some of them are actually overweight for their height. So I've been starting to slowly up my weight and just get more muscle tissue for the power production, because it will be necessary for me to be able to perform, especially considering that my leverages for the sport are less than ideal compared to them. And of course, I'm not gunning for top performance in the sport, but I want to get stuff that I'm happy with and stuff that I consider cool. Obviously not disregarding other aspects like leg training, which I could disregard to up my chances of performing well in the sport, but I want to juggle all the things that interest me, and general health and strength matter to me. So I need to train legs, and I need to train the posterior chain, and I train neck, and all that good stuff. I'm not gonna sacrifice any of that just to up my percentage of potential success in ring skills. So I'm just juggling all of them, and I know I'm not gonna be the best at ring skills. I just want to be satisfied with my level. And for example, now I'm working towards my first straddle planche, and that's something I'm cool with. Anyways, on to the next section. Okay, so for this week's dose of somewhat cohesive scattered thoughts. Here's a text I wrote back when I finished Arcane first season. Its title is The Terrifying Rawness of Despair. Arcane's presentation is one that appeals greatly to the visual representation of raw and brutally confusing scenes, to a life that lacks guidance or loses the one it had, hopelessly navigating, seeking change, or forcefully trying to reach it. A life of no choice, something that was simply granted to one this way and won't change. Ultimately coming down to how and in what condition one was born. Beginner's luck. And those who don't suffer from this disease lack the capacity to understand such conditions, making one another a combination as separate as oil and water. Jinx is the living representation of confusion, a poor soul that lost all it was given more than once, and lacks the internal means to properly function alone, yet unfortunately also lacks the mental state to understand and properly perceive others. The pain of trauma. A being that wishes for salvation yet doesn't deem herself worthy of such a thing, constantly living with this duality inside her. A bomb desperately exploding, waiting to be disarmed, or to finally have its final moment and never come back to that constant pain, mercifully, harshly.